Hey first graders! This week for writing, we're going to continue working with narratives, and by the end of the week, we will write our very own narratives. But first, we're going to kind of talk about how to brainstorm and how to plan our writing, and then we'll finally get into the actual parts where we write and draw the pictures that go along with our writing. Before we do any of that, though, I have a song that's called Do You Want to Write a Narrative? And it goes to the tune of Do You Want to Build a Snowman from Frozen. So I'm sure that a lot of you know that song. So here we kind of switched it a little bit so that it's about writing narratives. So it goes, do you want to tell a story? Just write a narrative. Tell all about who was with you, where you were, and tell us what you did. It's really very easy. Just close your eyes and picture it in your head. Do you want to tell a story? I'd really love to read your story, your narrative. So, I know I'm not much of a singer, but you get the idea. So you can try singing that on your own. I also found a YouTube video of that song, so I'm going to link that onto your Seesaw activity if you would like to sing along with it. It's just the person playing the piano, but if you want to record yourself singing along with it, you absolutely can. Today you are going to work on just telling stories because you have to be able to tell a story before you can write a story. So, parts of a narrative that you need to make sure that you have when you're telling your story. It says, what makes a narrative? It has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So, beginnings a lot of time will start with one day, or a lot of fairy tales start with once upon a time. A story that you tell might be 1 year on my birthday, or last summer, or when I was 4 years old, or whatever, but something that kind of starts it off. And then obviously it has like the middle. The middle is kind of like probably the important thing that happened, and then you have to end it somehow too. So you could say at last, or finally, or at the end of the day, or something like that. You're also going to want to make sure that it's a seed story, not a watermelon story. So you're not going to tell about a really long period of time. You're going to try to tell about one specific thing and give lots of details about it. You want to make sure that you are using feeling words, tell how the things that were happening made you feel. And then you also are going to make sure, we worked on this last week, that you are telling who was there, what was happening, where it was happening, and when it was happening. And a lot of the times you can get the when and the where out of the way right at the beginning. Like if you remember my story that I told about the dolphins that I saw while I was at the beach, I think my first sentence or my first part of it was last summer when I was at the beach in Florida. And so that told where, at the beach in Florida, and it told when, last summer. So a lot of times those two you can do right at the beginning. So today, when you go on to Seesaw, you're going to have 4 choices of topics that you can just tell a story about. You're going to pick 2 of them, and you're going to record yourself telling both of those stories. Make sure they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And they don't have to be long. They can just be 3 sentences. So if I was going to tell my story about when I saw dolphins, I could say, last summer, I was visiting my parents and we went to the beach in Florida. When we got there, we saw a lot of people running to the water, and we noticed that there were dolphin fins poking up out of the water. That would be my middle. And then my end would be, we followed them down the beach and got to see them swimming for a long time. It was really fun and really exciting. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a super, super duper long story. In fact, it's probably easier for you when you're writing if you don't make it crazy long. So go ahead on to Seesaw and you can start your activity.